Hello and hello and hello. I feel like I just started a YouTube channel and was like, yeah, I'm going to post every week. I think you just need to lie down. Sorry, I haven't posted a video for a little while, but I mean, you probably haven't really noticed. My brain has been busy with so many ideas, but my sojo has been kind of gone, so I mean, it's like they never work at the same time. It's like the ideas don't come and the sojo at the same time. It's like one or the other. So it's good. I think it works well because you have ideas, you have time to process them, time to think about them, document them. And then when the sojo returns, you can figure out what was a good idea, what wasn't a good idea, rather than just like jumping into projects and then just making things that don't work. That's what works well for me anyway. That's my process. Hello, I'm Sue-Ching and welcome once again to Making Happy Things. If we've met before, hi again. If you're new here, welcome. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel where we're going to just make things from random things, where we're going to do fun. So a couple of weeks ago I asked in my Instagram stories, what should my next project be? And I threw out a couple of options. One was a top made from Christmas napkins for the season on theme. One was a dress made from scarves, and then the other one was a tutorial for the pillowcase top. You'll have to see my Instagram if you don't know what I'm talking about, because the pillowcase top is on there already, but just a real fly through. But I will get to probably doing some of those tutorials later on. But the one that won by a very close margin to the napkin, the Christmas napkin top, I will probably do as my next project anyway, because I think a lot of people do want to see that. But it was the scarf dress, and so here we are. We're going to make the scarf dress today. Someone's pinging me on my phone. So a little while ago, I somehow came across a bulk lot of scarves. I think it might have been through Etsy, and they're all silk scarves, supposedly. Probably been sitting on these for a number of years, trying to figure out what kind of project I'll do with them. And I'm just pulling them out, and they're all different, but they're all beautiful quality. Like this one, which is from Liberty. There are some designer scarves here, but I don't know if they're real or fake. And there are some here, like some brands that I've never heard of that I've looked up, and when I've looked them up, they've turned out to be expensive. But a lot of them do have, you know, some stains or hems that are unraveling. So they're not all perfect, and some of them are oddly shaped. All different shapes, large, square. Some of them are long, like this one. And I was just looking at it thinking that would actually make a really cool, like, part of the dress. So you could do it like that and then add sleeves. I could just really catch that. I've got a vision, but that's not the vision I'm gonna work on today, because I have a different vision. And we're going to see if we can bring it together. Things I'm going to need are my silk scarves, which I've got here, many. Got some Microtex needles. So the Microtex needles we use for sewing on silk. Put this needle in the machine, which is a finer hole, I believe, when it sews and it punches through. So different needles for different jobs. That's a whole other thing I'm not even going to touch on today, but you can Google it and get more information. But yeah, Microtex needle for sewing on silk. I'm going to go through all of the scarves that I've got. Like this one says Gucci. Like the print looks a little splodgy. And I'm going to say that's not a genuine Gucci, because that would be a really beautiful scarf. Unless it was a second. It does feel beautiful quality, but the print doesn't look top quality. Like this one says Christian Dior, and I actually kind of feel like it might be Christian Dior. It's not giving fake, but I don't know. I absolutely love this one. Some of these Baroque, I would say, designs are so gorgeous. I'm obsessed with these prints. like these kind of Grecian ladies, and all the ornate, and even the colors are just so beautiful. Then we've got some classic like nautical stripes here. Anyway, I'm not going to show you through each and every scarf, although they are all beautiful. A large part of my process is obviously to work out mashing of prints and colors, and one of the best ways I like to do that is either laying everything out on the floor and kind of swapping things in and out. The other thing I like to do is use a mannequin. I don't have a sewing mannequin, but I have like a shop mannequin with me. So I'm going to use that and try and work out some print combinations and also a basic silhouette. I already have in my mind a very simple silhouette that I want to use for the dress. And the reason why I want to go with something simple and use whole scarves is because I don't really want to start chopping them up. This fabric, this silk, which is like silk crepe de chine, but once you start cutting it, it's not impossible, it's definitely doable, but it's a little bit wobbly, it's a little bit shifty, it starts getting a little bit hard to sew. And my thought process is, all of these edges are so beautifully hand rolled already, and I don't want to mess with that, because if I leave very little cutting on the dress, it means that I won't have to do much edging. Or I think with the dress like this, it would be done with French seams anyway, so we could probably put the overlocker just right away because we wouldn't be using it. So I want to mess with them as little as possible, keep the edges intact, which means I don't need to do any extra finishing, and I think I can create a beautiful dress without having to cut too many crazy shapes out. I've seen dresses that have been put together by cutting scarves up and they look absolutely beautiful, but I don't think that's the direction I'm going to go in. And also I think by keeping them whole, it keeps the future of possibilities open. So at some point, if I say to myself, look, this dress is not working for me in my wardrobe anymore, it would be relatively easy to disassemble and reassemble into something else. Or if at that point I would like to cut it up, I can do it then. So I'm going to get to my mannequin, pull out some of my favorite scarves, because YOLO, life is too short and I want to go straight for the good stuff. So part of my process of print mashing is like, where do you start? Sometimes when you have like a lot of different stuff like this, different colors, different shapes, where do you actually start? And the thing that I would say to myself, or the advice that I would give, start with the thing that you like the most. So if you don't know where to start with the thing that you like the most. If it's a color, okay, you like the color green. If this floats your boat, start with that and then build your whatever you're doing, your dress, top, whatever, your piece around the thing that you like the most, because I think organically it will start to take shape from there. And then also then it doesn't feel as forced. I mean, it starts to happen sort of more intuitively, more naturally, but there are some rules that you can work through in regards to dynamics of prints, colors, and they're all sort of like basic principles of design that you can lean on, and I do lean on those too. Sometimes if I'm feeling stuck, I've got a few pieces of prints together and I don't know where to move from there, I will start looking for ways to work extra prints or shapes or colors back in, either to clash or complement. So actually in my book there is a whole section about principles of design, and I do walk you through a little bit of that stuff. So if you do have Making Happy Things, you can check that out in my book. But following that lead, I'm going to start with the scarf that I like the most, my most favorite one, or the one that I think I can pair with a number of my favorite ones, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to go through all of these now and start picking out like my top 5, and then I'm going to see what emerges from there. Okay, so I've got my bias binding attached just on one side. I still need to like hand sew that down, but I think that's a job for like sitting down later, like with a cup of tea. And I'm just gonna try it out. So this is the sides, that's the front. I can tell by the position of the diamonds. The neckline does look kind of big. Nervous. Okay, so that's the front. Sides. So we're looking like that. It looks a little bit like that. I've given it a little bit of a press, so it does look a little big to me, the neckline, but there's no going back from there now. The only thing I want to do now is just close up the sides, and I'll just keep a little bit free for the armhole. So just basically stitch up the sides. I was going to just stitch it on the outside, but I don't have a good quality thread at home that's the right color, so whatever I've got here and on the inside, so I'll do right sides facing. That's looking pretty good. And then we've got the skirt, obviously, which we assembled earlier. All I need to do on that is add a gather stitch around the top edge, and then once I've done these sides, I'm going to be very tempted to just leave this as a beautiful top. And now I'm even thinking maybe I should do a top and a skirt. See, the possibilities are endless. Rather than attaching them as a dress, keeping that as a top and a skirt. What do we think? So confused. I just popped it on. I think the neckline's okay. It is like a little bit deeper than the one that I'm wearing today. This scarf is extremely see-through, but with a nude underwear on, I think it'll be fine. So beautiful. And I'm just going to figure out what that should be. This sleeve's quite big. This one goes to about 18 to 20, but I don't think I need it that wide, so I'm gonna go a little bit smaller. The other thing I could do is like add a cuff, which would also be very cute. We're gonna stitch carefully. So I'm gonna measure, fold it in half, and then measure down like 15 centimeters, which will give me an arm opening of about 30 centimeters total. And then I'll just stitch the rest of the side down to the bottom and do that. It's going to be a very nice kind of loose top or dress, wherever I'm going with this. To the sewing machine and just stitch that. Sides are stitched, and that's how we're looking. Now I've got this over my top, which has got a really big sleeve inside, but I think the armhole is okay. So now we're thinking this. And so far I haven't had to cut, oh I did, I cut the neck hole, but other than that, and my bias binding, but other than that I haven't really cut anything else, and I haven't had to overlock anything else. So the choice is now to create a skirt out of this or join it to the, oh my gosh. I'm gonna pop over to the mirror and have a look and just decide what to do. There's quite a bit of scarf here. It's the way that it's gonna fall. I think I need to see myself in the mirror to determine what's the next stage, how am I gonna do it. All right, so I've been in front of the mirror. That was a really quick decision. It took me all of like 10 seconds because I thought it through. I was like, to turn this into a skirt, that's like a lot of gathers at the waist with an elastic band. Otherwise I would have to cut and change the shape of it, and that's something I don't want to do, and I said that from the beginning, that I would want to mess with the scarves as least amount of possible. Like I want to keep their shape intact as much as possible. So I am going to attach it to the bodice part here. This is quite wide. So I'll do the gather stitch and then get it attached, and we'll see how it turns out. Such a delicate beauty. Onto the gathering stitch. So to create my gathering stitch, very simple. I'm just going to use a long stitch length and do 2 rows at the part at the top where I want my skirt to be gathered, and just leave a tail of thread at the beginning and the end, which I'll be able to pull on my bobbin threads later on to gather it up. So with my seams, I will probably, I mean, it would have been wise to actually press those open, but I do love to cut a corner, so I'm just going to go straight in and do my gathering stitch. Okay, so yesterday after I turned the camera off, I was like, I'm not sure if I really like the dress as it is, and I went ahead and added bias binding channel around where the top part meets the skirt. I just added in an elastic channel there and put in enough elastic to fit my waist, and I've just joined the elastic and finished it off, and I think I'm actually much happier with it now. I liked it before, but it was actually a little bit too long, and I feel like giving it the elastic has given it a little bit more shape and has also pulled it up higher on my body. So you can't see the whole look, but you can see that, and I can actually probably make the elastic a little bit tighter, I think. So, but it's definitely done the trick. And yeah, I liked it yesterday, but there was just something about it that I was like, this could be better. This could be way better. And I think I've nailed it now. I really, really, really like it. And this is something I would wear. I think I'd reach for much more than how it was before. So I'll show you the full look in a minute.